Hello, welcome to Lemon Stews, where we talk anything and everything entertainment. I'm, of course, Lemon himself, Zeke Lemon, and this is my review for Sonic the Hedgehog 3. But before we get into that, let's get the house clean out of the way. Sure, I'm going to leave a like, comment below, let me know your thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog 3. And, of course, hit that subscribe button as it helps me grow into my YouTube career. I would greatly appreciate it. Now, all that out of the way, let's get into the review, shall we? So, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 was one of my most anticipated movies of the year. It's my second to last. Nosferatu comes out next week, so that is the last movie that's coming out this year that I'm most looking forward to, but was really looking forward to this one. And the reason for that being is because Shadow the Hedgehog is in this, and he's my favorite character in all of the Sonic games. Just loved him. I always picked him to play as him when I would go to my cousin's house and we would play the Sonic games and we would battle each other. Mainly like Sonic Heroes. I was always Team Dark. He was always Team Sonic. And, you know, we would just have constant battles within that. In a lot of ways, this movie reminded me of those times. I mean, they really did pay tribute and really did Shadow's story well. If you know his story, you know just how dark it can get and just how bleak it can be, to the point where a lot of people were saying when we were going into this movie, I was like, look, is this the Goblet of Fire of Sonic the Hedgehog movies, right? Where we're telling kids, hey, it's time to grow up a little bit. And for the most part, I would say yes. Again, they do it. If you know, you know. And if you don't know, don't worry about it until you're in the theater and you can kind of probably tell what they are about to do as you're watching the movie. Keanu Reeves does also an amazing job in the booth as well. You can really feel Shadow's pain and just everything that he's gone through within the voice acting alone. You can just sense it with every word that he says, and the animation on the CGI on Shadow the Hedgehog also delivers that very well. The other thing that's great about this movie is that, you know, I really wish another Paramount property took note of this, is that, look, if you're not Sonic, if you're not Tails, if you're not Knuckles, if you're not Shadow, and if you're not Robotnik, you need to either be a part of them or you're not going to be in the movie. It's very that simple. This movie is all stake. You know, in Sonic 2, where we had that whole subplot at a weddings just so that way our humans had something to do, is, you know, after watching the movie back, I really didn't mind it. I thought it was very funny. I thought a lot of the gags that they did, and I think it cohesive very well within the movie overall, especially how they interconnected towards the end, where there was a value within it, and it wasn't just something for the humans to do. But there is nothing with that. Again, Sonic and Shadow's story is at the forefront of this all the way through, with this theme of choices. The yin and the yang, really much between these two hedgehogs. While, you know, one, you know, had a lot of loss, but yet was still able to find love and friendship, while the other one just had darkness and regret and all these different things. This is all said within the trailer, and seeing this played out throughout the whole entire thing, it really is a much more mature story than you would get, than you would really think from a Sonic the Hedgehog movie. Loved everything, the dynamic. I love seeing Team Sonic together, just being Team Sonic and really hanging out with each other. Tails gets a lot more action within this movie as well, where it's almost like, I don't know, dude, you're saying Sonic's the leader, but I kind of think you are. You're really setting the plan. Sonic just gave him the sign off on it. He's like, yeah, Tails, you got this, and you're doing very well. Even when Tom and Maddie do come into play the movie, it fits in like a glove. And again, it doesn't shy away from our main people that we want to talk about. And then, of course, I want to get into Jim Carrey a little bit, because he's playing two roles in this movie. They even break the fourth wall a little bit to address it. It's like, yeah, no, it's like I'm the same actor playing two guys in a movie, where he's playing both Ivo Robotnik, our main Robotnik, and Gerald Robotnik, who is his grandfather and also the creator of Shadow. Well, not the creator of Shadow, but the one who is testing on Shadow. And, you know, they kind of come together and they go off on their own thing, which does mean you do get double the carry. And, you know, when you're doing a family comedy action adventure movie, you have Jim Carrey doing Jim Carrey. Otherwise, you're just wasting Jim Carrey, right? And for the most part, it works for me. Jim Carrey's comedy is not going to get a laugh out of me. I had a lot of fun with a lot of the bits that we did with them. I love, you know, there's a couple of montages that we do between both Gerald and Ivo where, you know, they're trying to bond with each other because they've lost so much time. And it is very, very funny. It's just sometimes, especially when we get in the third act, And the third act is where I kind of have most of the problems within the movie. Um, in the third act, where, you know, it's starting to get more serious and, you know, it's like, hey, it's time to lock in, and then we cut back to them. I just wish the Robotniks were a little bit more serious as well, as opposed to being just Jim Carrey. And, you know, it's a really tough, slippery slope to be in, because you're like, well, we have Jim Carrey, so we got to have him being Jim Carrey. But I do think once we get towards the end and we're in the final battle, I think the slapstick comedy can kind of be pushed to the side a little bit and let Jim Carrey act as well. I mean, he's a very phenomenal actor. He, you know, he's done some very serious work. He probably deserved an Oscar a couple of times throughout his career. And I think we could have really shown that other side of Robotnik, where it is very serious. And we do kind of get that towards the end, but I just wish it was more prominent throughout, where every time the movie, it was starting to really get serious and talk about these tones and talk about these themes. And, you know, like I said, most of my problems are within the third act. Now, the third act is still great. It is a video game come to life in a lot of ways. I love a lot of the choices that we make within it. It was just how some of the ways that we got there is where, you know, I kind of had some irks to it. I say in my immediate reaction on TikTok, like, Knuckles makes a choice to do something. And I'm just like, Knuckles would never make that choice. But now, after sitting on it, I do understand movie Knuckles is different from video game Knuckles, and they both had different upbringings. So after really thinking about it, although I still think, you know, video game Knuckles would never do this, and, you know, a lot of video game Knuckles is within the movie Knuckles, I can see why movie Knuckles would do what he does in this movie. If you've seen the movie, I think you know what I mean. It's towards the end of the third act. Hell, it's probably right when the third act is about to start, where all three characters are having a conversation after something that has gone wrong, and, you know, one of the characters is a little upset, and, you know, they have to get something from Knuckles, and Knuckles is just not about it. and at the time, in the moment, I didn't like the choice, because, again, I just didn't think Knuckles would do that. But now, after saying on it, I can understand why movie Knuckles would do what he does. So almost completely retrospective, but it still kind of bugs me a little bit. Also, within some of the blocking that we do within the final battle as well, I was just like, that doesn't fully make sense. But this could just be coming from the fact that I am such a fan of the games. I love the game so much, especially Sonic Adventure 2. It's one of the greatest Sonic games of all time, if not the greatest Sonic game of all time. I have love for Sonic 06, but hey, that's another video for another time. But Sonic Adventure 2 is one of my favorites, and, you know, just with some of the ways in the final battle was going, I was just like, I just don't think this would have happened here and what would have happened there. And again, once it's starting to get very serious, they really try to hammer home the theme of the movie. I got it, and I'm pretty sure a bunch of kids would get it too. And, you know, this is the main complaint that I have when it comes to kids movies, is that when, you know, you have this theme, you have what you're trying to portray to the audience, what you're trying to make as the lesson of the movie. And again, it's only prominent in, you know, family movies overall, because they really want the kids to get it. They really beat a dead horse with the moment of it, because it's just this big exposition. They're like, you see what we're doing here? You see what we're doing here? It's the theme. Choices. And then I'm just like, man, movie, you're good enough where you can only need to explain it once, maybe even twice. But to do it as much as you did, it does kind of deflect off the movie a little bit, and it does stop momentum, because, again, you're stopping everything you're doing to make sure everyone understands the lesson you are trying to portray within it. And honestly, that's really the only true criticism I have of the movie, is that they do just hammer home the theme and the lesson way too many times. If your movie's good enough, you don't need to hammer it home. And it really felt like the movie did not have enough confidence within itself that the kids would pick up on that. Kids are really smart. If you're a good enough movie, they are going to pay attention. If they're going to pay attention, they're going to understand what you're trying to do. And you are good enough movie to do that. Sonic the Hedgehog 3, to me, is one of the best video game adaptations ever. Hell, it is probably the greatest video game adaptation ever. To me, it is easily the best of the 3 Sonic films. Have more confidence within yourself. Maybe we'll have that when we get to Sonic the Hedgehog 4. There are 2 post-credit scenes in this, one in the middle, one towards the end. They are both really, really good. I'm telling you, it's the equivalent of seeing Thor's hammer for the first time after Iron Man 2. Big crowd pops on both of them. Cannot wait to see where we're heading within the future. Just have more confidence in yourself to have these themes to be betrayed within the first or a couple times that you are explaining what you are doing. You don't need to go to third, you don't need to go to fourth, you don't need to go to fifth, and you don't need to go to a sixth time. Just have confidence within yourself. But where I would rank this movie on the lemon scale, where it goes sour lemon at the very bottom, expired store-bought lemonade where it's really bad, but hey, there's some redeeming qualities. Store-bought lemonade, it's really good, but there are a lot of bad within it. Lemonade, very good movie, with some problems here and there. Freshly squeezed lemonade, where, you know, it's really, really good. We just have very, very minor problems here and there within it. And then strawberry lemonade at the very top, because that is the best kind of lemonade. To me, Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is freshly squeezed lemonade. Again, if we just don't over hammer the lesson of the movie, it's flirting with strawberry lemonade very, very hard. I would have had a hard time within it. Maybe, you know, fresh out of theaters, Zeke would have kept that freshly squeezed lemonade over what they do with Knuckles. But I do think it probably does go to strawberry lemonade if we don't do what we did to hammer home the lesson within the third act. But hell, this is a hell of a movie. Shadow to me is going to be a real scene stealer. I think we're going to have a lot of new Shadow the Hedgehog fans, where he is the favorite hedgehog moving forward, because again, they do so well with his story. And again, you know, if they would just kept some of the moments more sincere and serious instead of cutting to Robotnik just to lighten it up a little bit, because again, it was just like, well, you know, we are for the kids as well, so we can't go too serious. No, you can. You can. And I just hope they take those lessons with them over to Sonic the Hedgehog 4. But what did y'all think about it? Comment below. Let me know your thoughts on it. Leave a like if you made it this far within the review. I would greatly appreciate that. And again, hit that subscribe button, as we have a lot of content heading your way over into 2025 to help me grow into my YouTube career. And until next time, guys, I'll see you here at Lemon Studios.